Thank you for Luther for having me here in the YC team. In terms of little tech, I'm as little as you can be. Just finished the Winter 25 batch. Just finished fundraising as well, and now I'm out here talking about some pretty cool stuff. And the focus for what we're doing at Inversion Semiconductor comes down to the need to develop advanced manufacturing capabilities here in the United States for semiconductors specifically. So today, I'll be talking about the difference between potato chips and semiconductor chips, and that'll become a lot more clear as we go on. So we live in an exciting time in the world where rocks can talk now. This has been a pretty new development. We've done a whole lot of work in the last 50-odd years to develop large language models to mimic pretty much what humans have been able to do in terms of speaking and whatnot. Some of the bigger players in this space are Jensen Huang from NVIDIA, who is designing the most advanced chips to be able to do this. But he's not the only one. You also have Andrew Feldman from Cerebras, who's betting on large-scale chips to be able to do advanced LLM models and whatnot. And there's a whole host of companies who are doing advanced compute, from your startups like Etched, Cerebras, Light Matter, and PsiQuantum, to more of your traditional high-tech companies like NVIDIA, AWS, Google, Apple, and ARM, and more of your traditional semiconductor companies like Qualcomm, Intel, Texas Instruments, AMD, and Micron. Semiconductors touch all aspects of life. Here is just some of the companies that use advanced semiconductors. I'm sure you recognize some of these, or you used some of their services in the past. And semiconductors, while being about $500 billion market, accounts for about $1.5 trillion in economic impact per year. Pretty impressive stuff. However, here in the United States, we do design the most advanced semiconductors, but still, to this day, we produce 0% of the most advanced chips. And then we'll get into why that occurred. So before that, let's get into the semiconductor space. And a good analogy is to put it in terms of a wrapper. So if you were at the start of the early LLM craze, you knew that there was a whole lot of critique for new startups coming out that, oh, you're just the wrapper of ChatGPT. And using that analogy, we can break it down to how the industry is set up. So your YC-backed startup is just the wrapper. But OpenAI is just an NVIDIA wrapper, which is just a TSMC wrapper, which is just an ASML wrapper, and so on and so forth. It's a very good analogy to understand the semiconductor space, but it is very simplified. So if we want to look at it in a more complex way, it looks like this, where research and development goes into informing electronic design, and those designs get developed into advanced chips. And how does that compare globally? Like this, where we here in the United States develop and design the chips, but we don't make them. A lot of the technology that we developed over the last 50-odd years has left and gone to other places. And that may be changing in how that dynamic plays around the world. The United States has great capabilities in a lot of other tools, especially with our partners. But what we don't have capabilities in is advanced lithography tools. Lithography tools are the tools that are used to make the most advanced chips. So EUV is the most advanced method that we have to make these chips, and we use very small light to make very small patterns. So this is an ASML machine that produces these. A lot of this technology was developed here in the United States, but has now left to the Netherlands. That was the timeline and sort of effort that we put into it. We poured in about $4 billion, and we haven't seen the returns from that. So where did it all go? Pretty much this is how it happened. It came down to analysts and people trying to cut savings and costs where they could and send it out elsewhere. And that's still happening today, where you have companies like GlobalFoundries who are taking large amounts of subsidies and divesting it outward. So what are we doing here at Inversion Semiconductor? Well, we're going head-to-head against ASML. We're developing new lithographic machines, and we're doing so by using particle accelerators to target the most advanced nodes. So I'm sure if you were on Twitter, you heard all about this, and that different nations are using large-scale particle accelerators. While this system may or may not work, we're more interested in something that is a whole lot more compact and a whole lot more sustainable, which is why we're building these compact accelerators that were able to reach the same speeds as your traditional accelerators in a distance of about 1 meter, and we're doing that work with Lawrence Berkeley National Lab. So some of the remedies I propose is industrial policy where we are working with advanced chip designers and startups, bringing that to the labs and developing new technologies to eventually produce the United States semiconductor manufacturing company. And if I had to leave with a couple of bullet points, those are my subscriptions to what I think would make a healthy space. But other than that, thank you, and thank you for listening to me.